Welcome, Brandon Christensen. Christensen, I don't know. Thank you for being on the podcast. We're going to talk about your latest movie, at least the latest movie in Germany called Body Cam. Yeah, I saw it. It's a really amazing found footage film. I really enjoyed watching it. Um, the first question I have is, it seems I read somewhere that the movie has a sad backstory or references an actual case. Um,
Yeah, I saw that recently. I saw a post about that, but I had no idea what it was talking about. It was just one of those things. Like my last movie, Night of the Reaper, there was like right before the movie came out, there was this AI generated plot synopsis of the film, and it was completely crazy. It was basically like the little kid Max in the film was the killer, and there was all this stuff. And so people started asking me about that, and I'm like, no, 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 that's totally made up. Yeah, there is no sad story, other than, I mean, I will say this: there is like pieces of sad story, like the opening couple with the baby and everything. That's kind of loosely based off of stories that I've read where parents will sell their child for drugs, and so I guess you could say that, but yeah, there's nothing in particular that was like a sad story that we were drawing from for sure.
that's so interesting. I don't know if you follow
Yeah,
your IMDb pages, but it actually says under trivia that there was a case where
right.
body cam was and it actually says their emotions and quotes mimicked from the real footage.
I don't know what they're talking about, but I'll take it. I mean, sure, yeah, we'll say that there was a demon that was trying to do some stuff, and some cops shot him. But yeah, no, I did see that, and I guess that's where I saw it on IMDb. Yeah, the internet, you can post anything there apparently.
That's true, right? Maybe your next movie.
Right.
You've written this with your brother, or
Hmm.
yeah, okay. So you worked three times together now, I think. Is it three times?
Yeah, Puppet Man was the first one, and then this and Reaper. Yeah, so that was the three that are produced scripts that we worked on together.
Okay, and was that a natural what I mean it's the last three movies I think you did with him together. So how did
Yeah.
that come in play that you worked with your brother?
Um, I was doing Superhost, which was a film I did in like 2020, 2021. And as I was kind of I was deep in post production on it. The producer of Puppet Man, he reached out and he's like, "Hey, I've got these ideas we want to pitch to Shutter. Would you want to, come on board and help develop some?" And so he sent me, kind of a list of all these different movie ideas, and there's one called The Puppet Man, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting," and I liked kind of the idea behind it. So, yeah, my brother and I, we'd been talking about writing for a long time, but we've never actually done it. And so that was kind of an opportunity for us to feel each other out a little bit and see how it worked. And it was very efficient. And we kind of, we've written probably seven scripts now, I think. And the process just keeps getting easier and more efficient. And it's pretty nice. So, yeah, Body Cam was the second one I think we wrote together, and so we're just we shot Body Cam before Night of the Reaper. It just took forever to finish, and so um, sorry. Yeah, it's just been nice to kind of like learn each other's strengths and weaknesses, and learn where you can push and where you can pull, and do all that. But yeah, we're kind of we were writing today, and we're just it feels like we're always writing now.
Amazing, amazing. I mean, if you can work together with your family, some people
Yeah,
like that, I guess.
yeah. No, it can be nice. There's benefits for sure.
You mentioned it, the movie already, Night of the Reaper. We talked about it a few episodes ago because it came out a little bit earlier than Body Cam
Right.
here in Germany. But you made like two movies back to back. I think they came out like in the same year. Um, why so
it
fast?
it was not supposed to be that way. Like we shot Body Cam in 2023 in like April, and post production on it just took so long. Like there's the sequence at the end with the driving. There's stuff like you wouldn't even know that was visual effects, like the hole in the floor in the basement. Obviously the stuff that happens at the end, that's also CG. But we were such a low budget film that we couldn't pay a company to come in and just like handle everything. We had to kind of do it piecemeal, like bit by bit, and so that just took a long time. And while it was happening, I had the opportunity to shoot Night of the Reaper as well, and so I was just like, well, I got to take this. You never know how many opportunities you get. And so, end of 2024, we shot Night of the Reaper, and then I was kind of jumping back and forth in 2025, finishing both films, and they actually finished within 2 weeks of each other, because like we both were Shutter films, and so we had to deliver them, and Night of the Reaper was delivered July 1st, and Body Cam was delivered July 15th, and so yeah, everything from basically January through July was just like a blur of just sitting and clicking and doing all this stuff, because it's just, finishing one movie is hard, but doing two simultaneously was just crazy. And so, yeah, it was awful, and I hope I never do it again. But at the same time, I did enjoy I loved having done it, like I'm very proud of the fact that I was able to do it. And then we had a double world premiere in August, and then Reaper came out in September, and then Body Cam in March, this month. And so yeah, it's been a very busy year for sure.
Okay, yeah. I mean, sometimes it takes a little bit longer till the movies reach Germany. So I thought maybe that was a problem on our side, but
No, no, for sure. It wasn't. I actually just got the Blu-ray and DVD from Germany. They sent me a copy of it, which is pretty cool. I'm excited about that.
Oh, great. You can watch the what's called dubbing.
Right. Oh, question for you. With Body Cam, because I haven't seen the German one, did they dub it or is it subtitled?
I guess there's a dubbed version. I never watched the dubbed
Oh, really?
version, so
Oh,
no.
okay, cool. Interesting. Yeah, look,
Yeah.
it's just interesting. You never know.
I,
Sometimes
I
it's just
I
subtitled.
think normally there's a dubbed version, depending
Okay,
on how big the quality of the movie is.
sure.
The quality sometimes is a little bit bad, but
Right. That's funny.
um, um, how long did it take to shoot body cam since it's a found footage film? Did it go quicker, or I mean, the post-production we know took
Right.
forever, but how does the shooting?
Yeah, the shooting schedule was really, really efficient. It was the fastest that I've ever done. It was only 12 days. And so we basically shot for 3 weeks, 4 days a week. And that gave us a little extra prep time because our crew was so small. It was like six of us. And we were just like running around the city, calling the police and being like, hey, don't arrest us. We're filming a fake movie with a fake car and stuff like that. And so it was very run and gun. And just like, the way that we shot the film, there's no lighting. The actors are filming everything, and it's just like you don't have to do the things that you do in a normal film. Like you go into a scene and you block the scene, meaning you figure out the movement of the actors in the scene, and then you shoot two angles maximum. It's like either one body cam. If there's only one in the scene, it's just one shot. If there's both guys, then it's two shots. But in a normal film, you've got to shoot close-ups. You've got all these things. You got to light the world. You got to do all these things. And with body cam, it was so fast because it was just like, okay, go in, figure out the scene, let's film it. We'll do it a bunch of times, and then we'll flip the camera to the other guy, do the same thing again, and then we're just like, oh, we're done. Move to the next scene. So yeah, it was incredibly efficient, and that was a lot of fun because you kind of found yourself in a position where you get to play in the scene a little bit. Like, oh, it'd be cool if you took the camera off here and you put it down here, and just to make it a little bit more interesting. And so the problem solving became like, how do I break up the monotony of everything being mounted on the chest?
So the footage was actually just through body cams. There were never
Yeah.
anything different used.
Yeah, so we had a GoPro set up. It was basically just a GoPro mounted on their chest because, we did get some body cams that we tested out, but the quality is really bad on them, and having to do visual effects is already super hard on a GoPro, so doing it on that was even worse. And actually, every time the movie goes to night vision, GoPros don't do that. So we bought these really cheap body cams off of Amazon, and we were testing which one had the best night vision. And this it was like $70, and it shoots fairly good night vision. And so all of those night vision sequences, we would switch to this really, really crappy body cam and film that way. And like the quality was awful. And that's where like the hardest visual effects come in is on these night vision shots. And so the team that we brought in, they just, you can't track anything. You can't, because everything's just a blur of motion and pixels dancing and all this stuff. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, we shot, I would say like 90% of it on GoPros and then the other 10 on these little crappy body cams that we bought. I have three of them right over here.
Great. So you already said the cameras were operated by the actors themselves.
Yeah.
Did you have a feed where you could watch the scene during the filming, or did you, have to
Yeah.
watch it afterward?
Um, yeah, so we built this camera vest for them. Basically, it was just like this black vest. It had the camera on the chest, and then a cables running to the back, and there was like a wireless transmitter and like a power bank. And so the camera would have continuous power. We wouldn't have to change batteries or anything except for this big block. But I mean, this was the interesting thing about the shoot is that the actors were filming and they could see everything, like generally on a set it's like you go around a corner, there's crew, there's lighting gear, there's all this stuff, but because the actors could move freely through every scene and they could turn 360, like we couldn't be anywhere near them. So when they go into that house at the very beginning of the film, they're going into the house. It's dark, it's gross, it's creepy. There's actors hiding upstairs and downstairs. Like they're totally immersed because there's no sound guy following them with a boom pole. There's none of these things that kind of break that fourth wall for actors that you normally get. And so I think for the actors, it was an interesting experiment too, because they got to experience these things. They had a script, they knew what was coming, but still, when you're in a dark and creepy house lit only by flashlight, it's super scary. And so I think that helped their performances a lot, just being able to do that in a lot of these situations. But yeah, we would be far away, as far as we could be from the actors, just so they could kind of see the world. And then, yeah, it would just be a matter of like, once you cut, I run in, I give them my laundry list of notes because, the camera didn't get this thing, you missed this, whatever. And it just became this sort of, it was almost like directing a stage play because every
Hmm.
scene is one shot. Every scene's a oneer, and so you're constantly just doing these long takes, and you're trying to figure out how to massage everything through it. And it was just it was a cool experience, just trying to figure out how to do that. It's just different.
Yeah, I mean, found footage always has, to do something special to get
Right.
the footage. But and I mean, you said there was a script, but were there lines they had to say, or was it a little bit, off the cuff during the shooting?
um Yeah, I mean, both actors were totally different in how they did it. Like Sean Rogerson, he's very good at just rolling with whatever. Like he'll say whatever feels right in the moment, and he can add some things. Jamie likes to be more by the book. Like he likes to rehearse and have it very technically down.
Mhm.
And so we just kind of let them feel the scenes out as they needed, and we would adjust where we needed to. But yeah, as long as like the scenes concept was there, we were happy with it. There's certain things, like especially at the beginning of the film, we wanted to hit these major the things that they're saying. We wanted it to feel real. So we had an ex police officer help us write a lot of the dialogue in that opening chunk, just to use some of the shorthand and stuff like that a cop would actually use. And then once things start to break down, the kind of the structure of how they're working kind of falls apart, and so the way they talk kind of adjusts for that. They're no longer doing everything by the book, they're just a little bit more reactive, and that's definitely by design. But for the most part, script was pretty close, I would say.
It just I just have to mention it because Sean Rogerson played in one of my favorite found footage movies,
I'm
Great
sure.
Encounters. It's an amazing movie. Yeah,
I know, it's a good
exactly.
one. I just watched it last week. It's a
Ah,
great
I
film.
love it so much. So it was like, oh, he's in this one too. It can only be great.
Right.
Can you talk a bit about the design of the sign that's
The
for the
symbol, yeah.
and the monster design, how that came along, not to spoil too much, but there is a monster.
Right. Yeah, so that's always such a big thing. Like on the page, it's like, oh, there's the symbol of the Underman, and you're like, okay, cool. And so when me and this guy Mark Dennis, he was our production designer. The very first time we met, he had done some sketches of some ideas that he had, and they were cool, but a lot of them were really complicated. Like they almost looked like a Japanese character or something like that, just very, too much. And so it was kind of like, well, let's take this one, break it down, and eventually the design we settled on was kind of like, there's a hole in the middle, just like how there's a hole that separates the upper, above ground and underground. And then there's kind of a triangle on the top, and it has like a ceiling, and then the bottom is completely open because the underground can go forever. It's kind of like this infinite pit. And so that was kind of the one that we decided after talking about it, and it was just this cool, like, okay, cool, like, above ground there's a limit, but below it, who knows how deep that goes. And it was just this ambiguous idea. And then the monster himself. So we shot the film with an actor. Like, there was a guy there. He's this really tall actor that I've worked with before, and it was cool. But when we started working with this company, they're called RCS Studios. We started talking about, could we replace him with something done with CG? And I've never done that. I've always wanted to, and so we started working on some designs, and there was a few things that I wanted to hit, and one of those was having these big hollowed out eyes, because if he's underground and he's in the dark, he doesn't need to use his eyes. So we were just like, all right, get rid of them. And then there's like this tentacle system coming out of his back, and that was sort of a mirror to Miss Jackson, Jackson's mom. She's like rehabilitating drug addicts, and she's using IV lines, so Jackson walks into that scene, there's all these people sitting there with IVs, and it's kind of like a mirror to that. So she's rehabbing drug addicts, and the underman is using the same kind of tentacle system to bring drug addicts in and control them. So there's just like these two opposite measures of control that's kind of being done there, and that was kind of the main two things that I wanted to see with him. And just sort of tall, skinny, creepy. That always works.
Amazing. That might be a weird question, but I think it's worth talking about. I follow you on Instagram, and you
Oh, cool.
post a lot of stories where you get messages
Uh,
from people watching your movies who maybe didn't like them. And I
right.
think especially the horror scene is very toxic if people don't like them. They're like, and you're always very friendly by telling them it's hard that you didn't like the movie, but it's not for everyone. And I mean that's always something we say in the podcast. If we don't like a movie, it's like maybe it's not for us. But
Right.
it must be hard to be always in such a critic eye.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because, like, the budget for this movie is so small, and it's coming out against movies where, like, the catering budget is higher than our entire film, and we're being compared one to one with them, and it's great. Like, that's, I'm super stoked that that's happening. That's such an honor to be in that kind of world. But, there are considerations and things that do happen where things can't be perfect because you just don't have the money and you have to deal with certain things. But part of the reason I respond to these people sometimes, not always, but it's very disarming. Like, if someone's just screaming into a void and they're like, "Oh, your movie sucks, you're a loser," or whatever,
Mm.
if they don't expect a reply, So if I all of a sudden go, "Hey, sorry you didn't like it," or something, and I lean into what they're saying, it almost makes them go like, oh crap, like that I should not do that, because like there's a human being on the other side of this that is getting this feedback. And and it's easy to be an anonymous face and just say something kind of mean or whatever like that. So if I can kind of insert myself, and I can't always do it because there's a lot, but when I can, and if it's funny or whatever, I'll do it, just because it's just a weird way to make them more uncomfortable, because they're like, oh god, now I feel bad because I was just talking. Like, if you write Steven Spielberg and you say, hey, your movie sucks, you're never going to get a response because he's way way above that. But I'm still very much an independent filmmaker. I read everything because I'm making this for I'm this is what I love to do, and I want to see what people are saying. So when I do see the negative things, if they're specific or they're funny or something, I will, yeah, I'll tend to lean into it because it's funny, and you always get really surprising results when you do that. So, yeah, that's funny.
Okay. I mean, you already mentioned you already written seven scripts with your brother. What are your next projects? When can we see the next movie? I mean, you only did two this
I
year.
know, I know. I don't know yet. Like we have three that are out there kind of making money. They're different. They're all horror, but they're different kind of subgenres. Um, they're all different. I've never really done anything like these ones, so I don't know. But I'm in talks about all of them, and so I don't know which is going to go first. I think one will this year, and so I'm hoping that I'll be on set this year shooting something that'll come out next year. I can't really say more than that, but that's the hope. And I'm definitely dying to get back on set because I didn't shoot a movie last year, and I had shot what 2020, 2022, 2023, 2024. I shot films, so I'm itching to. I want to be shooting like one a year, but it's very difficult.
I guess. Yeah, well, we just have to follow your Instagram and see your
For
nice
sure.
stories and then we can see what your next project will be so people follow him. And my last questions, what horror movies are you looking forward to this year?
Yeah, this is a tough one, and I feel like a lot of stuff hasn't been fully announced for later.
Hmm.
But and I'm gonna take one that's probably surprising and a little weird, but I did think about this, and Scary Movie 6. And here's why. And it's because like I loved the first Scary Movie. Like I was in junior high when it came out. Amazing film. Like I've seen that movie 50 times probably. We just sit down watch it all the time. The sequels I liked less, but I love that the Wayans brothers are back because I
Hmm.
think they did 1 and 2. And that we get Anna Faris back, we get Regina Hall, we get the cast coming back, and there's just something that I feel like comedy has been gone for so long. Like Judd Apatow had his thing in the mid 2000s, late 2000s, but it's kind of died off. And so I'm very curious. There's just so much material that hasn't been satirized by the Scary Movie franchise. There's going to be so many fun things that are just going to be like, oh, it's just going to be an all star show of everything that's coming out. And so the trailer looks pretty funny, and yeah, I'm just really excited to see what they do with that because there's just something so inappropriate and funny about the way that the Wayans do their films. So I don't know. I'm very hopeful. I hope it's not like Scream 7 where it just does not. I did not care for that. But I have faith that they're going to do it right because they've done it right before, and I think they're coming at it with the right attitude. And it's just like it's time. It's time for another one. So I know it's not really a scary movie, but it is. It is, and I'm just dying for a good comedy right now.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. I hope a lot of people will watch your movie, Body Cam, that's coming out in Germany now. We're looking forward to new projects from you. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.